someone wants to just keep learning about Workday, the product itself, I think consulting is a little bit better since you're always switching clients after clients, industry after industry, and you're constantly learning about Workday and the configuration and the new features coming up.
And I asked him one question that how you think 7 years prior that you need to be in this industry. And when he gave me the insight, it blew my mind.
Hey ZEESHAN, welcome to Ask an Expert podcast. Thank you very much for making it as a guest here. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Mahdi. How are you? And thank you for having me here today.
Of course, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Actually, for context, and I like adding those contexts at the beginning, I stumbled into your content, I think, again, a few months ago. And I just love seeing more and more Workday professionals share their experience, share what they're doing on LinkedIn. And so thank you for all of the content that you're sharing. I'll leave the link, by the way, in the show notes, but I think everyone should follow you and see what you've been up to. But for the ones who don't know you yet, tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little background.
Perfect. I'm ZEESHAN, based in Atlanta, currently responsible for HR system, HRIS manager at STV. In Workday ecosystem for more than a decade now. Started my career luckily with Accenture, did consulting with them, worked mostly
Nice.
on the Apex side, and then jump into the IBM and then client side. So I was fortunate enough and lucky enough that I was able to get chance to work on multiple client, multiple modules, and multiple region. So I love to work with other. That's what I'm looking for.
Ah, that's amazing. You know, every time that I meet someone who tells me
Mhm.
that they are coming from consulting and now they're at a client, I just have to ask this question: like, what's your preference? What's the main difference between consulting and the client side?
They are, we are now comparing apple with the pear. So it's totally different thing altogether. So you might already know consulting is a hard pressing on budget, on targeted goal. You always have to push hard to get the business. But on a client side, it's little different. I'm not saying it's not less work. It's a different work. You have the own the system. In consulting is always you can give the answer, you can give the suggestion, but in client side you are the one who's making the suggestion, those decision. So that is the driver which I like the most. Previously multiple time I remember I mentioned something to my client that this is the good approach for you, you should do this way because it will give you in a future good better understanding. But because of multiple reason, or maybe they don't have an understanding of workday that much, they say no, I have to keep my mouth shut and move it forward. I know whether we are not doing in the right direction. Whereas the client side, we always have to consider what is best for the organization.
Hmm.
One thing I do wanted to mention out here is I do miss consulting when it's come to a knowledge sharing more. Because in
Yeah.
consulting, you always have a group of amazing mind who are traveling with you. And then when you travel, when you are having connection with the other partner or other peer, which are also dealing with other multiple clients or the workday ecosystem, then you will get to know more of the thing instead
Yeah.
of you just, but in a client side become more of a business side. So workday knowledge will go down. So this is where I started like few year back when it was COVID. We all shut down and we all at home, and all of a sudden I started, I'm not learning anything new from few months. So
Hmm.
that's how I started change my perspective of doing personal connective or personal networking to a virtual connection. That
Yeah.
is where you, when you mentioned started sharing or active on LinkedIn, that is the main reason that I started doing it. And luckily, it's giving me a return nowadays that I'm able to connect with the multiple greats mind and able to share the thoughts, which give a win-win for me and for them.
Oh, I think I love what you just said about the difference between consulting and the client side, especially on the workday perspective. So you're saying that if someone wants to just keep learning about workday, the product itself, I think consulting is a little bit better since you're always switching, clients after clients, industry after industry, and you're constantly learning about Workday and the configuration and the new features coming up. But on the client side, you become an expert on that specific industry that you're in, and you just have a better understanding of the business overall. So I feel it depends on your motivation and where you want to take your career, but both sides can be good for their own reasons. Um, I think I summarized it well, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah. No, no, you hit the point. You are absolutely correct.
No, that's perfect. Now that you're on the client side, by the way, but you still have that Workday knowledge, you're still
Mm-hmm.
working with maybe partners or Workday consultants. How do you how do you handle those relationships? Because right now you're not like new to Workday, like you actually know Workday at a good level, but you also have a much bigger business background at SCV. So how do you handle those conversations? Do you still feel like the expert, or are you still learning from them? What's your approach?
I'm still learning. I think Workday has become huge now. It's, I will say if someone say I am expert in Workday, I'm not going to believe that guy or girl. Because now particular time no one know Workday whole.
Yeah,
Because it's become so big now the finance, procurement journey. So many modules are coming into picture. It's very hard to keep up to date with those modules. The better consultant, the better resource is someone who at least know about it and know how to work on it or how to implement it and where to
hmm,
find it. So those are the key features. If you know how the backbone or the foundation of Workday, you can learn those things. Coming back to your point, it definitely gave me a one level up or one notch when I talk to vendor most of the time because I know how the consulting works. So it
yeah,
helped me doing the negotiation. It helped me when I am doing the RFPs because I know which candidate I'm working for, which kind of talent I'm looking for. So that is definitely there. Learning, definitely I am learning from them because most of the time they are the expert in that particular domain, which bring something new. They might have worked on some other client, which the knowledge which they bring to us table, but it's a fun side to be on the to be on a client and having a vendor from a multiple partner because
yeah,
you know how they are thinking, what they are trying to push, how like most of the time when we have a package solution, I understand it's not going to take X number of hour, it's just going to take this number of hour. So
yeah.
those are really good for me when it's especially when it's come narrow down to budget and all those
Yeah.
stuff. So that's the major
Yeah,
difference I have.
you've become an asset to your organization because of that background. You know how to navigate those conversations a little bit better. Um, Someone who might go to your LinkedIn profile, let's say, they would see that your official title is a product owner. Can you tell us more about like what a product owner does? Are you configuring much? What's your day to day like?
Okay. Right now, I am responsible for all the HR system in STV. So definitely we have 99% in Workday. We still have a time tracking in our new ERP system. We're
Hmm.
still trying to look how we can move it to it. My end goal is to make the organization process oriented and how
Okay.
the organization in which direction is going through. In recent few years, we have a new strategy that we are moving into this direction. We are investing in our people. So then how we can do it? By that, we decided we need to enable new learning module for them. So what it will be the good experience for them? So that
Hmm.
drive me that, and then last 2 years we did few big merger. So they were not in Workday. So move them those employee to into Workday. Once we move them, they have a different process. The experience is different. So people experience another one key factor for me at this particular time. I am responsible for people experience. How the employee will get in. The first thing which they see, or before that also, the first thing which they see when they apply for the job is Workday. We have recruiting,
Hmm.
Workday recruiting as well. So from that to end, how the personnel will interact, the experience, and I have to make sure it have STV or my company policies, experience, and what message we were trying to give to them. If it's
Hmm.
become more challenging, then it's not a good experience for them. So in my day-to-day life, I want to make sure that the process, so I'm defining the process. I have team who are very amazing Workday expert. They are the one I rely to them most of the time when it's become a configuration. I am still logged into Workday every single hour. I am
Okay.
a Workday freak. I will call my bug. I I still try to go into the system and see myself. If someone
Yeah.
told me something, I know. I don't directly believe that or someone. I just go into the system, look into it. How it's is because of two reasons. I trust my team. Absolutely, I trust my team. The reason is I just want have a curiosity to learn. So
Hmm.
I go into the system, I see, okay, this is how they are planning to do it. This is something which we need to do it. So whenever I see something new, I am the first one who go into my tenant test environment and implement it, play around with it. I don't implement in production most of the time. Then I told my team, go and you play with it, and whenever you are ready, go ahead and move in product.
Okay.
So that curiosity will give me a notch most of the time. Then when I connect with other client or vendor, I take that, okay, we have done something similar, how we can improve it. So
Hmm.
that is what I'm doing in current organization.
Oh, that's good. I appreciate that. It seems like this curiosity that you just mentioned will keep you updated. Even if you're busy with other HR systems, maybe if you're busy with the management side of things, you're still trying to keep updated on Workday so that, you're always, you'll always be able to lead your Workday team, and not just be the manager who doesn't know Workday. So, okay, I got it. Uh, that makes total sense. Do you still take on any configuration work, or you're when you go on the system, it's just because you're curious, just because you want to explore?
I time to time, if I have a bandwidth, I do take a small project and try to help my team as much as possible. That if I know that I can do it more quicker and faster rather than my team because they might
Hmm.
have to do it learn. So I go and implement it, and in one-on-one, I go and explain them. That this is how I have
Okay.
done it. Now you go ahead and maintain it going forward.
Okay, got it. I think that's also a good strategy to train your coworkers as well. So it seems from what you just said, as a product owner, you're more focused on the organization and the people's experience and the business goals, and then you ask yourself, how can Workday help with all of these objectives? Versus in consulting, Workday is the main product, is the main goal, and you're just working on it. So I feel like anyone and everyone should have an experience at the client side. I think you have that other length. It gives you that understanding on why you're doing things in the first place. So totally get that. So I appreciate that. For me, it has always been mystical, like what people
Mm.
do on the client side. Like I've been on the client side, but it's always been related to Workday and making it better. But anything like business wise, it's a little bit far from me. So I appreciate you sharing that experience with us. Um, when I was browsing your LinkedIn profile, not because I was stalking you, but just seeing what's up in there, I saw that you also attended an HR event recently. So I have a few questions on that. So as a Workday consultant, all I attend is Rising once a year, but I feel like there are other HR tech, HR summits, HR conferences. How do you find them versus Rising? How relevant are they for an HR professional or a product owner like yourself?
Okay. Both have a different lens and different knowledge sharing session. Because in Workday Rising, everything is more focused on Workday and how you can connect everything to Workday. Now, since I moved to our client side, when I attend the last meeting, conference which I attend was on AI Summit. So in that, the most of the discussion was happening around the AI. That what are the AI agents available in the market and how we can use them. So when I understand from their perspective, then I think, okay, this is something is possible, doable. How we can integrate that with Workday? Will
Hmm.
that two system will talk? How the organization will go and use this? I give you one example that I am more, as I told, I love Workday. So most of the time, till now, I start pushing Workday is the only solution. But over a
Hmm.
period of time, I learned Workday is not the answer for all the question because sometimes the lens of the business have a different perspective, different approach. Workday might work for them, but not 100%, or it is not the optimal solution. So it's okay to if we go out and purchase something else, but now we may have to make sure that it connect with Workday. So that
Hmm.
is the lens which I get one more knowledge which I understand from the when I join the client side. Multiple factors responsible for it. Definitely a budget, and a
Yeah.
leadership mindset where they are going and the roadmap. If you are heading to one direction and this is the organization wanted to go in one direction, but Workday is not taking them there. Instead of them, they are going to the left direction. I don't think that is a good product for them.
Okay.
So Workday in general is a good product, but I'm talking about mostly the modules. So instead of like you don't need recruiting, or maybe finance is not that good in Workday, or maybe you
Hmm.
can use. So every industry have a different product and different
Needs.
knowledge they need, which they can be used and utilized. So coming back to the last summit, in that you will get to know and learn from the different HR side. I learned how the organization doing retention, how they are managing and investing in the people. So now
Hmm.
I understand this is how they are doing it. Now my job is not just to add a technology piece of it. So when we go to Rising, it's mostly about the technology. That
Yeah.
we can, if we are doing retention, how we can do a retention using Workday agent or Workday system. Whereas in here we are talking about the people.
Okay.
Although we are going into a AI world, but we have to make sure we should not lose that AI is created by human, and of the day is human connection is what we need. So we
Yeah.
always have to think about that first, then AI, then the system. So that is the gap I think I get the knowledge when I join those kind of a conferences.
Okay. So multiple things here.
Mhm.
Let's first start with you're learning about like what you really need in your industry at your current company, and depending on the leadership's vision, Workday may not be the all-in-one solution to fulfill that vision. And so maybe for one particular module, it makes more sense to go to another product and make sure that it integrates with Workday. Are you looking for like products that are already Workday partners with easy integrations, or are you also willing to integrate like some other random products with no native integrations, or does that come to budgets as well?
All the three factor depending,
Okay.
definitely budget is a driver, so I learned this in a hard way. Budget is always a driver,
Yeah.
but sometimes the partner company which have a good connector with Workday are amazing tool for the industry because of the look and feel and the people experience, but
Hmm.
sometimes those also have a limitation. So the other tool and come up with a studio or a extend or orchestration integration will be another option. So it's situational basis. There's no
Okay.
one right answer. Depending on your need, you have to pick. But my preference will always be go for Workday, go for a Workday partner, and then go for a customized integration.
Mm.
So because maintenance will always be difficult. If it's Workday, less maintenance from our end, Workday will maintain it. If it's a partner, they will have to make sure that have a connectivity and those update already. Whereas if we do a customization option, then we have to think about the maintenance. That
Okay.
for a small or medium-sized industry, maintenance and workday resource is not that much. So that
I
also we
see.
have to consider.
I feel like you're selling your position pretty well because it seems like you have a lot of flexibility and a little bit of creativity as well. Because yes, you have a vision, yes, you have a budget, but then you're free to show your leadership any solutions that might fit with your budget and leadership, whether it's Workday, a customized solution, or a Workday partner. I think it's great. I think that side also is missing from consulting. So you see, like I'm trying to learn here. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
No, that's good. Okay, cool. So that was the first part. The second part you said also on those other HR conferences. By the way, are there any others that you usually attend aside from the AI Summit? You have Rising. Do you attend any others?
So HRO today is one which I always go to other than Rising.
Okay.
Rest all depend on the location and the time.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
also looking into Microsoft. They have recently did a Microsoft AI tour. So they have did it
Nice.
in Atlanta, and they are going to do it again in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to it. Uh,
Okay.
uh, so that is where I'm trying to learn more what is happening in AI world.
Okay. Cool. And then going back then to that actual conference, you said that you're also learning what other organizations are doing on the HR side, but like on the people level. Like how
Mhm.
are they retaining more employees? Are they like rewarding them? How are they helping them in their careers and just helping the overall organization. So do you come back from those conferences with actual, step-by-step process, like, hey, I should do that for our organization, and then see if Workday can help with it or if any other products can help with it? What's the end goal then when going to those conferences?
I take both the lens. First of all, most of the time I have something in my mind that I need answer to this question. That I
Okay.
gave you a it's live example in that I am currently we are trying to move to a skill-based organization. So in last organization when I conference in which I went, I keep asking this question: Is done someone have done something similar, or do you
Okay.
have any connection who have done something similar? Then I most of the time someone say I might have done something or related to that. Then I follow up with them, connect with them, learn what they are doing. So it gave me a end user testimony, like what they have done.
Mm,
So right, so that will help me to learn from their mistake, what went well. I think that is the biggest thing which I am learning from networking, learning from other.
yeah.
So they told me like we done this step, Jishan, but don't do this. These are the steps you should avoid. Or instead of
The
this,
lessons learned.
do yes. That is something like why to spend time or and energy on something which already failed by someone. So
Hmm.
always go and take the cheat sheet so that you can do from there and fail in somewhere else. Failing is should not be afraid of failing. You will fail at some point, right? So instead of don't fail where already someone failed, learn from those failure, do something different, try to do something better, and the end goal will be always be good.
Yeah.
So in those conference, I do this way that where I need one or two member who should at least done certain work which I'm looking for. That is always my one topmost priority. I always go with few question in my mind that I am looking for this to answer. Second, I try to connect with most of the leaders who are presenting that
Hmm.
why and how they reach there. So I am very selfish sometimes and very competitive. I try to learn from the other. That
Yeah.
if someone is in a very big position, or someone is doing something very good in their role, I try to learn from them. That
Of
how I
course.
reach there. So in the AI summit, I met with one AI delivery lead from one very big organization, and I asked him one question that how you reach to this level, because now in this last 2 year we are discussing about AI, but when I check your profile you are in AI from last 7 years. So how you think 7 year prior that you need to be in this industry?
Yeah.
And when he gave me the insight, it blew my mind that he had predicted this thing 7 year back, that this is something
Yeah.
is going to happen, and now it's paying off. Now he is in a very big shot in the AI industry. So
I
that's kind
love
of
that.
question I try to get from the people on those conferences.
And then those questions that you prepare, it seems like you have personal questions on, on people's growth and careers. Do you have also questions that are given by your leadership on maybe your company's actual position or anything like that? Do you prepare those conferences with your company as well, or is it just individually?
It goes with both. I
Both?
always keep my company roadmap and leadership requirement in mind because end of the day, I am the one who is delivering to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're asking me something, I have to make sure I am delivering it 100% correctly. So I take those requirements, go and talk to other and check. We are thinking in this direction. Any suggestion?
Yeah.
And take those, summarize it, do little massage, get my input. Most of the time, something work for big organization might not work for us. We have a different industry set. We have a different adoption rate. We have a different change management style. So we'll make an adjustment and then present it.
Got it. You also mentioned something about skilled based organization. I've
Mhm.
been hearing this term here and there, so I'd love to hear your take on it. But what is it? The first question, what is it?
Okay. So before going to that, let me ask you this. If I ask you 2 year back about ChatGPT, do we know
Yeah.
ChatGPT?
No.
No, right?
Yeah.
But in today, daily, I'm telling every hour we are going into ChatGPT and doing something. So over the last 2 years, we have adapted a new skill. The skill is prompting and chatting with the ChatGPT or any AI agent. So now we are upskilling ourselves. So this is what is happening. Now the organization and even the individual in next 6 to 7 year, we all have to adapt a new skill, otherwise we will be outdated.
Yeah.
Recent survey done by Gartner and Deloitte and PwC, in next 7 year, 75 or more percent employees going to lose their skill which they have. If they don't upskill, they will be absoluted. And
Hmm.
50% of the job profile will be outdated.
Wow.
So
Okay.
in just 5 to 7 years, we are going to see the changes. So now the answer all to your question is skill is the new currency in modern economy. You have to take
Okay.
it. Like we used to work in previously, we started with shells. Uh, Shell is the currency we use. Then we moved to coin, then
Hmm.
paper. From last few years is crypto.
Yeah.
Now nowadays, if you don't move and take skill, skill is the new currency. So the organization who are moving from a traditional job title and position, that I am a manager, I am a HRS
Mm,
manager or a Workday consultant. The organization which are moving from there, and it's going to be, I need someone with this skill set. I need someone with the compensation advanced skill set. If we talk about Workday side, I need
yeah.
someone with just a journey implementation skill set rather than just a Workday consultant, right? So
Oh, I get it.
the organization which are mostly focusing on the skill of the employees, they are moving toward becoming a skill-based organization. So they are going rid of their traditional job title and focusing on more on a skill. It have various use cases. You can do hiring based on skill. You can do internal mobility, which is absolutely amazing. Retention is something which everyone's struggling. To replace one employee, currently company is spending 3x amount. So if you are
Yeah.
replacing one employee with 50K salary, to replace that particular employee, you need to spend 150K.
Hmm.
So, so that is the gap we are talking about. If you are able to do internal mobility, that is the saving there itself for the organization. The skill
Yeah.
which you share, learning, like every company have a learning department. We all most focusing on how we can enhance the skill of our employees, how we can make them better. But even in Workday, if you don't have the skill set defined to those employees, you will give them a bunch of list of skill, regardless those are relevant to that particular resource or not. But using a skill-based organization or a AI agent, you can create a customized career path or a training path for individual. If you are 3,000 employees, 50,000 employees, or 100K, you can have a 100K, 1,000 skill path or the learning path defined. Otherwise, those are not possible with the normal organization. So that is
Mm.
the, like I'm giving you that drone view of it. I can talk about skill based a lot. I'm doing it from. Mhm.
No, I just had like a lot of ideas pop up in my head when you were explaining that. So it makes total sense for me that titles, even today, it's like obsolete. Even in the Workday ecosystem today, when someone says like I'm a senior Workday consultant, it doesn't tell me anything about them. Like I don't know if you have 2 years of experience or 15 years of experience. I've seen people with 20 years of experience say like I'm a senior consultant, and others saying that they're architect with 3 years of experience. So even today, I'm seeing it that titles are getting obsolete, and it makes sense for organizations to go to a skill based org. It's just that on the implementation side, what does that mean? Like, what would be like? Let's say you need to do that at SCV. What would be the first step?
Okay. I have differentiate that into a fourth step, that how we can achieve that. One is define the skill. So
Hmm.
how you are going to define the skill for an
Wait,
organization.
are those the skills that you need in your organization, or just like all of the skills?
Okay. So every organization have a specific need. The
Yeah,
skill which is required for us, we are in AES industry, we are architect, engineer, is not valid to a Google or Amazon. They are need
yeah.
someone with a software knowledge. The skill which is required for your industry or for your organization, okay, that is with use for a skill, defining the skill. You can use Workday skill, or and but there are multiple good AI agent available in the market which pull your job profile. do a AI magic on top of it, push back the skill on your job profile. So those are so this is what I am looking into right now using the AI agents who can pull
Yeah.
our job profile, filter out, scan it, parse it, and give us the skill on those job profile. And
Okay.
then internal learning, you have our modules, resume, all those things. So first you have to define the skill. Then next step is measure the skill. You need to measure, like if I am a Python developer, what level I am, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So
Mm-hmm.
there you have to define I am at beginner level, intermediate level, or expert level. You can do it assessment. Again, I think Workday have provided all the tool, but you can use some few AI agent, which we are trying to use, few AI agent with the Workday as a core center. AI agent will help us with driving those things. Then you measure the skill, like I am a Python level 3.
Mm-hmm.
So define the skill, measure the skill, connect the skill. Now connecting skill will be the one which we are talking about. If I am going to go into market and looking for a consultant who can help me implement or create two integration, I need only looking for a studio skill because I
Yeah.
know those are the skill I am looking for. So I will not go in a market and look for the workday. I will not go for a market and look for the integration expert. I will only looking for the skill studio skill. And I can
Yeah.
go narrow down also that who have done stand studio or maybe orchestration. So that will narrow down the scope. So it will give the better hiring and other
Yeah.
things.
So instead of looking for a senior Workday integrations, you would just select, as long as you're in level 3 on Workday Studio, then you would be maybe a good fit. And then you
Yeah.
can interview them. I see
Yeah.
how it's narrowing the scope and just making it easier to hire someone. But then, okay, let me challenge you here. What if you need 3 skills? And those skills are not, I don't know how to say, like mutually exclusive. Let's say like it's separate skills. How would you do that?
There will be always a difficulties and challenges. I define skill into a two subset.
Hmm.
So one is soft skill and hard skill. Soft skill
Okay.
definitely will be a leadership skill, personal skill, or public speaking, leadership style. All those skills which you don't get a chance to get from a certification or a college degree. Those I consider as a soft skill. Driving a car is a skill. See, if you're going
Yeah.
into that level, you everywhere cannot drive it. Driving a car is a skill. But so those will come under that bucket. The second will be the hard skill, which you have learned over a period of time. Then you can always have a multiple and or logic to define and narrow down the search that you are looking for someone with few soft skill, few external skill, and then make a selection and correction.
Yeah.
Every employee I am trying to think will have more than 20 skill, but your organization might not need that much level of skill. Your
Hmm.
organization might need your just 5 or 6 skill.
Yeah. Like they would hire you for those 5 or 6 skills, but all of the others are good to have
Good to
as a
have.
leader or, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in the future, if they have an opening on those other skill, they instead of going outside of the market, they can internally pull you in.
Yeah.
I give you the example. If we are in a business again, so we have few concrete safety engineer sitting in Tampa in different company. We have a sisters company.
Yeah.
We are working on California one project in which we need someone to go and do an inspection for just 2 weeks. If we go to a market and hire someone, it will going to cost high, amazing amount of work and the money. We can go to that particular internal resource and can you do this 2 week job for us? So good factor, we don't have to hire someone outside. We will get an internal resource and we can use that. And from an employee perspective, he or she will able to keep that skill active. And in the future, they can migrate to a that skill level. Or maybe they don't want to live in Florida anymore. They wanted to move to California. Now we are giving them opportunity. Or we are giving them a whole new horizon. Like you can take or do or move into this segment altogether.
Hmm.
So that is a good for both employees as well the organization.
And in your experience, because I'm really loving this narrative. How much time would it take to completely switch a company to a skill-based organization?
Okay. That will challenging question. The challenge, I think, the most is the change management and adoption.
Mm.
If someone, some organization doing business with certain way for 20 to 30 years, all of a sudden you come and
Uh,
say, we are not
yeah.
going to give you the titles and all those. So for a few years, you still have to learn on work on the titles and business process and promotion because people still validate themselves with their title.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's a journey, but in general, without the help of like in my previous organization, when we implement something similar, it took us more than 2 years to move it there. But in my
Okay.
current organization, we have a plan to move in less than 6 to 8 months. Why?
Oh, nice.
Why we have a specific AI agent which are helping us. So
Okay.
instead of you go and sit and assign skill on each job individual, you are sending to the AI agent. They will do it and do it integration. You can do it. So in 2 weeks you can set up an integration, normal EIB, not a fancy integration or API integration. They can talk with each other, get you the detail in 2 to 3 weeks. Then you can have in now they have the option. There are multiple AI agent available who can read your resume, read your company project titles, read your company document. From basis of them, pull out the skill, assign the skill to your employees that you have worked on the XYZ project. In this XYZ project, you have learned this skill. This
Yeah.
is your skill. Now they will give it to you. Let's Zishan, these are the skill you have might have learned in your last project. Yes or no? You can say yes, no, and then the next step it will trigger to your manager for assessment. Zishan, raise this skill. Do you how much amount rate you this skill on Zishan? So
Yeah.
now, so again, I will go back to define skill. We are defining the skill. We are measuring the skill. We are connecting the skill because we connect the skill through those uh, documents from the employee profile, job profile, and promotion. And the fourth step, which is my favorite step, which is why I go into and started looking into it, develop the skill.
Yeah.
It will help you to develop. Now someone will be thinking, I wanted to achieve, I want to become a manager, or this is my next level. To reach that level, I need to have this many skills. You can create a customized plan yourself, or you can work with your organization or manager or your learning department that I am targeting in next year. I wanted to be in position. That or it will be very good discussion in your performance cycle when you go to your boss and say I am interested to be this, but I don't know how to do it. Rather than I am interested to be this and I need this many skill set, I am
Mm.
preparing for it. How I can do it? He might give
You
you
have a
some
clear plan.
budget care
Mm.
plan and it is already generated by Workday. If you have a skill set, if you have a learning module in Workday, and then you skills cloud, it give you that connection. Career hub,
Yeah.
it talk about that opportunity graph. So all these components are they already available in Workday without any cost. First of all, most of the organization are thinking if we go into that direction it might cost something.
The budget.
No
Yeah.
cost. No cost at all. But you have to come up and assign the skill correctly to them. So
Mm.
that is why now developing the skill, now each employee have a career path defined for them and they can work on it. So you can see the option and the possibility is endless at this particular time.
I love that. I think for me and for anyone who's listening in this position, I think what you just described is the future of organizations. It just makes sense. I don't understand why we didn't start with this at first, but I totally get that, and I feel like you've been learning a lot about it. Like you're mentioning some ideas that I've never thought about. So appreciate that. You know what we should do? You said
Mhm.
6 to 8 months, right? I'll give you 12 months. I'd love to interview you after 12 months and then just see, what you learned during this implementation process. Maybe you'll be able to share your knowledge with other people and, tell them your lessons learned. And hopefully, like we can also learn a lot from an employee's perspective or a consultant perspective on how to level up and not be obsolete in the next few years. But Zishan, I appreciate you being on the episode. I think it was super valuable from, describing your role as a product owner, as, how you're navigating your career in those HR events and how to utilize them, and then skill-based organization. I think that's the future. That's the thing that I'm most excited about and to learn more about in the next few months. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Zishan, if someone has, any additional questions or needs to connect with you, where can we find you?
You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. I love connecting with people, and so you can always reach out to me LinkedIn if you're looking for any mentorship. I might be able to help you, or I might be able to connect with you with someone who will able to help you. So I think
Love
LinkedIn
that.
is the platform at this particular time I'm active at. So go for
Yeah,
it.
perfect. I'll leave a link in the show notes and in the description. But again, thank you very much, Zishan, for being a guest on Ask an Expert, and we'll chat very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. Bye.